drive from Citi Field is where many Met hopefuls embark on their pro journey. Sure, Coney Island has the beach life and the amusement park thrills, but since 2001, fans have been concluding their day of entertainment by catching a ball game. They say amazing starts here. It is Cyclones baseball on SNY. The Lowell Spinners are the Boston Red Sox affiliate. They're in town for a 3-game series against Brooklyn. The New York Penn League is short season A-ball in the minor league ranks. Brooklyn stands in second place in the McNamara division, a 500 ball club right now, 4 games away from first place Staten Island. The Clones are aiming for their first playoff appearance since 2013. And let's welcome you inside MCU Park. Scott Braun along with Coney Island native Nelson Figueroa. And this team looks very different than it did just a few weeks ago. 7 of their 11 top picks in the 2016 draft are here. That includes first-round pick Justin Dunn, the pitcher who we probably won't see, but we will see the cleanup hitter Pete Alonso.
Yeah, tremendous power out of this guy. He won the Triple Crown at the University of Florida, batted .374, but what's different about him is he doesn't strike out a lot. He had 31 walks, 31 strikeouts in 56 games.
And their leadoff hitter is Michael Paez, who made his debut last night, and they're happy to have him as a part of the everyday lineup as well.
Absolutely, a prototypical leadoff hitter. This guy has tremendous speed. Normally a shortstop, but transitioning to play a little bit more second base, his versatility may come in handy for him moving up the ranks.
He just won a College World Series with Coastal Carolina, but this Brooklyn team is known for its pitching, and it starts with Harold Gonzalez. He's one of the best in the rotation.
Yeah, number 45, Mini Pedro. Idolized Pedro Martinez. Tries to do everything like him. The delivery is much the same. The changeup is his weapon of choice, just like Pedro. Has a plush changeup. Very efficient, likes to work deep into the ball games. We'll see if he can do it again tonight.
His manager, Tom Gamboa, says this pitcher is a pleasure to watch. A pitchability guy on the mound for Brooklyn, and he'll have a tough test against Lowell. They're number 3 in the league in batting average. We'll come back and we'll get ready for first pitch and lineups at MCU Park. It's the Spinners and the Cyclones on SNY. Brooklyn Cyclones baseball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. It is a gorgeous weather evening for baseball. Clear skies, 72 degrees, just a slight breeze. You would never know that a storm passed by a couple hours back. Here's how it began. Got very dark, Nelson.
It's right about when I showed up.
And we said goodnight as the clouds came and the rain came down. And we said good morning again, and it's nice out, and you would never know that a storm passed by here at Coney Island. Starting lineup for the Lowell Spinners, the Boston Red Sox affiliate in the New York Penn League. It begins with Matt McClain, then Chris Madera. Ryan Scott, a 7th-round pick from Arkansas, led all D1 players in batting average this year in college. And Baldwin, Downs, Tubbs, Victor Acosta, Steven Revelis, and Nick Shortino rounds out the lineup. Harold Gonzalez is on the mound. He wears number 45 after his idol, Pedro Martinez.
Yeah, has that same build, very slight of build, 6 foot tall, 170 pounds, 21 years old. This guy likes to pitch backwards using his changeup to set up his other pitches. Usually when you do that, you have that fastball, that low 90s, makes it even faster when you set it up with the changeup.
And behind him, the Cyclones defense. First a look at the outfields. Jay Jabs plays all over the place. Jacob Zanin, the usual center fielder. Arnaldo Berrios in right. And from left to right in the infield, Blake Taberry, Colby Woodmansee, Michael Paez, and Pete Alonso, their 2nd-round pick out of the University of Florida. Behind home plate is Ali Sanchez catching Gonzalez. And stepping up first is Matt McClain, 22 years old, 9th-round pick out of the University of Texas, Arlington. First pitch from Gonzalez, outside corner for a strike, and we're underway at Brooklyn. Something that Tom Gamboa pointed out about Harold Gonzalez is that he does not have the best stuff on the staff, but he knows how to use it.
Yeah, you talked about pitchability in the opening. What you know about him is we'll use all his pitches, will try to be as effective as he can of throwing into the strike zone, painting the corners. You saw it already with strike 1, just off the corner on the 2nd pitch. Then he goes to his 3rd pitch. He's constantly pounding that strike zone, trying to get outs as quickly as possible. it is.
Sometimes he'll pitch backwards, he said. Other times he'll attack. Some scout comparisons. The savviness of a young Greg Maddux, according to his skipper.
That's high praise right there when you talk about savviness. This Greg Maddux, one of the best ever to do it, pitching without a big-time breaking ball. He uses fastball and changeup, just so effective with it. His movement and location, he could just put it where he wanted to, when he wanted to.
He is tops in the New York Penn League in strikeouts, but he issues a free pass to the leadoff batter.
Yeah, it has about a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, so not often will you see him walk the first batter of a ball game.
Gonzalez making his 6th start of the season, facing Chris Madera, the second baseman. Madera also plays some outfield. Many players for Lowell out of position this evening. They've had some recent call-ups and even some trades in the Boston Red Sox organization. Shows bunt, but that's fouled first. Drew Pomeranz is going to move over to the Boston Red Sox from the San Diego Padres. And we'll see the opposing pitcher in the next half inning, Brian Johnson, who is now, according to MLB.com, their number 2 overall pitching prospect, because they get rid of number 2 in the system, and that's Anderson Espinosa.
So when you know a team's in a win-now mode, they're going to go for it. Pomeranz is a great addition. Nasty knuckle curveball. I mean, he's the kind of knuckle curveball you can throw again and again and tell them you're going to throw it the 3rd time and still get a swing and miss.
Madera, 23 years old at the plate out of North Bergen, New Jersey. Swings through the heater. It's 0-2.
Nice quick pitch right there. You saw him take his time to get his delivery set, then very quick to the plate. That will upset a runner's timing. That's something that we see a lot in the big leagues. Pitchers having difficult time because they pitch to a pattern. It's a 4 count or a 6 count where they hold. See how he holds that slowly, goes up, comes set, then quick to the plate.
Breaking ball lofted center field. In comes Zanin. Shielding makes the catch, and there's 2 down. Or make that the first out in the first. Getting ahead of myself.
I like your style.
That'll bring up Ryan Scott, the 3-hitter.
It's the official Ryan Scott Braun 2 outs for 1 rule. I like it.
Watch it there. Scott, a .435 hitter this year at Arkansas Little Rock, a 7th-round selection. That batting average best in all of NCAA Division I baseball this spring. And then welcome to the New York Penn League. 18 games, a .224 batting average.
Yeah, a little different with that wooden bat in your hand.
And the level of competition for someone like him is vastly different. Maybe not so much if you're coming from a major conference.
Right.
Check swing, he went around, it's 1-1.
Sometimes it just takes them a little bit of time, get it rolling. There'll be that breakout game. You see 3 hits, 5 of the plate appearances where the balls hit really, really hard. And that'll be the turning point for someone like him.
1-1, weak right side. Pete Alonso fields it in foul territory. Harold Gonzalez made major improvements from last year so far. ERA was close to 5 in his 13 appearances. 9 of them starts with Kingsport last year.
Yeah, but he had flashes of brilliance. I mean, you talk about he took a perfect game into the 9th inning on June 28th last year, retired the first 24 batters in a row, then wound up losing it, losing the shutout and losing the game.
And he's also done that this year. Took a no-hitter into the 7th on June 23rd of this season against Connecticut. They end up losing the game, 3-2.
on vacation.
A little bit of a Pedro look in the back.
Wait.
Yeah, you can see the mannerisms are there, just trying to emulate his idol. Sometimes it takes some pitching coach to get him to break from that, but if he's successful at doing that, it could lead to bigger and better things. Good pitch right there for the strikeout. See the quick pitch right there, doesn't have a high leg kick. There's the changeup. You see that action right there, just drops out of the strike zone at the last bit, probably the last 3 feet. The hitter reads it as a fastball coming in, gonna stay on that same plane, then disappears.
And with 2 away, Roldani Baldwin steps up. Look at Pete Alonso covering first base.
Almost like a catcher. Looks like a little like a Tony Pena right there. Trying to frame that outside corner.
Would you like that as a pitcher if you're looking over to first?
I don't see him, I see the runner. I just assume that the first baseman's there and he's waiting for the ball, so I'm never gonna sneak attack him. I'm trying to sneak attack the runner. I'm trying to lull the runner to sleep and let him get comfortable and get out maybe 1 step too far and then snap my throw over. My first baseman's gotta be ready, so maybe that's what puts him in a position to be ready at all times.
One-0, swing and a miss. It's 1-1.
Nice pitch. That's something that, again, it's his first time in pro ball. The coaches will watch that to see if there's any weakness to that kind of move there. Nice little cutter. Late action on it, 84 miles an hour. Again, they're reading fastball out the hand. He also has some good shadows going right now, so it's hard to pick up the spin on the ball. See, now if the throw is to his left when he's in that crouch there, I don't know how well he can get to the ball, thrown too far over. But he's been probably doing it for a while, so if he hasn't been corrected at a program like University of Florida, might not be a bad thing.
Have you seen that?
Can't say that I have. I mean, you're told to be in an athletic position, but it was a little extreme. Oh, boy.
Sanchez gave it a shot over to Alonso. Here's Baldwin, signed as an international free agent in November of 2013. Also has some experience as a catcher. Today he's playing third.
He's not picking up that slider, I can tell you that right now. So what does that tell me as a pitcher? He can't see it, whether it's the sun, whether it's the stars or the moon. I'm going to keep throwing that pitch until he makes an adjustment, especially using the elements right now with the sun and the shadow. See that shadow right behind him on the mound. Almost looks like 2 pitchers are throwing at the same time.
Two, he gets a piece and stays alive. Did you try and work fast when you had a shadow like that so you could take advantage?
Oh God, yes. I was trying to get through the innings as fast as possible, use that to my advantage as long as possible, because I knew once that went down, that's when the game changes. You start getting back on an even playing field.
The entire profile of Gonzalez right next to him. So he delivers left side, and Tiberi is going to make the throw to second to end the frame on the 20th pitch thrown by Harold Gonzalez, but no damage done for Lowell. The Cyclones back for the first time when we come back. Cruising into the bottom half of the first inning in Coney Island, no score, and Brian Johnson will be on the mound facing this starting lineup for the Brooklyn Cyclones. Michael Paez made his debut last night as a shortstop. He'll usually play second base. Nick Sergakis is the DH. Jacob Zanin, Pete Alonso, the big power bat in the cleanup spot. Colby Woodmansee hitting after him. Blake Tiberi, a third-round pick. Ali Sanchez and Jay Jabs. And it finishes out with Barrios against Brian Johnson, who has made 1 big league appearance last year, and he's on a rehab assignment.
Yeah, on a rehab assignment. He was placed on the temporary inactive list with anxiety issues. 6'4", 235 pounds. Now, I was curious why he was down here instead of in Pawtucket, but anxiety issues play a big part. Pawtucket's a tougher place to play. The fans are a little bit more like those big league fans. They get on you a little bit.
And he shows us the 89-mile-per-hour fastball. Doesn't bring the heat like some of the other Red Sox prospects, but he knows where it's going.
Yeah, especially when you talk about this guy just got bumped up to #2 prospect in the organization. But it's the fact that he throws 4 pitches, knows how to work them all over the plate. His effectiveness is using that changeup, good sinking action, the cutter in on the righty, so he knows how to pitch. It's a matter of putting it all together and using his pitches in concert.
The southpaw picks up the strikeout quickly. Baez goes down, and Nick Sergakis comes up.
Real good pitch right here. He's trying to go away with it, but it cuts on him right there. So if he tried to throw that cutter and backdoor it, didn't hit his location, but the pitch was really effective. Nasty movement going in. Plus, like I said, those shadows, hard to pick up.
On his rehab assignment, he's made 2 starts in the Gulf Coast League. The previous one was 4 innings, so maybe we'll see 5 or 6 as he continues to get stretched out. A lot of success last year in AAA, ERA at 2.73 for the southpaw. And Sergakis at the plate. A couple homers already. Unfortunately, Nelson, he went to Ohio State, and I don't mean unfortunately on that end. I mean because the year before, he was with Coastal Carolina, and he transferred. They just won the College World Series.
It's all in timing.
And the man who bats before him is going to have a nice shiny ring.
Don't think he won't show it to him either. One of the things I like is his pace. He's getting the ball, rearing back, trying to go right after these hitters. That's something that we see on the other side with Gonzalez. Kind of takes his time. He gathers himself, and that's good, but kind of lulls everyone in the park to sleep when you do that. So your defense sometimes will be flat-footed, where they know they got to be ready when he's on the mound.
Breaking pitch, and he rings up Sergakis. 2 up, 2 down via strikeout.
Good curve right here on the outside part of the plate. See the setup there, down, hits the corner perfectly. Backdoor breaking ball, just gave up on it. When you haven't faced a pitcher like this, or this caliber, this guy's already been in the big leagues. He knows how to pitch. Better be ready at the plate.
Jacob Zanin stands in, the Mets' 15th round pick in this past year's draft. So he does get up to 93 miles per hour. He's no Michael Kopech, who's now the top pitching prospect in the Red Sox organization.
Yeah, I guess he muscled up on one, huh? What was it, 105?
105. And he's a starter. That's not out of the bullpen.
I mean, there's a new age of pitchers right now. Where you look at someone like a Noah Syndergaard who's pounding the strike zone at 101 well into his 80th, 90th pitch. It's really impressive to see.
Everything around the strike zone from Brian Johnson, including that breaking ball that goes to Baldwin. On the run, 3 up, 3 down for the Brooklyn Cyclones. Nice tidy inning from Brian Johnson after one no score from MCU Park. Nathan's was packed a week ago for the hot dog eating contest. Did you watch, Nelson?
I did not watch. I was over in Taiwan. I heard 70 hot dogs. 70.
By Joey Chestnut, took the title back from Matt Megatoad, is the nickname Stoney, who ate 62 in 2015. It's the 100th anniversary of Nathan's, and for one game, because we love the ballpark promotions that the Cyclones always do, they were the Brooklyn Franks, or the Coney Island Franks.
Coney Island Franks. Pay homage. I don't mind it. I know I stop in every time I come here.
The Franks, now the Cyclones again. And another inning from Harold Gonzalez. He faces Jerry Downs. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Lowell Spinners. First pitch swinging, high chop shot, Paez, and there's one down.
Take that all day. That's what you usually see from the hitters, is they're going to be a little bit more aggressive on that first pitch because they know he likes to pound the strike zone. Get ahead and maybe lay a strike in there. That might be the best pitch you see, because a guy like this who can pitch to the corners and pitch backwards, that's what makes him a little bit tougher, is allowing him to get that strike one and get ahead.
Now it's Tucker Tubbs. We saw that the other night. Many all-star hitters against the starters and then even the relievers attacking that first pitch.
So a lot of things are like Pedro. You see that stance right there. Watch the legs come up and the arms and hands work together, but it's very short and quick right there. Not a very long stride, a very short stride, but he gets on top of the baseball using that short stride, and it's almost like short arming the ball is what they call it. So the batter is trying to time his swing to a longer arm action.
It's 2-2 to Tubbs.
Guarantee he played some shortstop at some point in his life.
Why do you say that?
Well, most Dominicans are tremendous fielders, great arms. You start out as a shortstop so you can't hit a slider anymore, and then you become a pitcher. So, or if you have a plus arm and you can throw mid-90s, they're going to move you right to the mound. That's going to be your easiest ticket to the big leagues. So you can tell the athleticism that he has with that build, and when you idolize someone like Pedro, you can do only so much. Pedro had definitely a longer arm action that led to that 96-mile-an-hour fastball, plus the dexterity he had in his fingertips to get that action on the ball.
A couple ground ball outs, and now Victor Acosta. "20 years old from Venezuela, played in the Dominican Summer League at age 17, was one of the best power hitters out there.
It's funny because he has such a quick pace in his windup. When he gets the ball back and he sets up and he's ready to go, 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 but when there's a runner on base, slow and methodical, taking his time.
He fires his 30th pitch. It is in there for a strike, 3-1.
Talk about the umpires and their zones. They will constantly be changing. They got to see where the pitcher likes to work, how he likes to work the movement on his pitches. Then you start earning those corners. You don't usually get those corners right away, especially when your catcher is set up on one side of the plate and reaching back. It's usually not going to get you that call, but I think here at this level, the umpire is a little more forgiving.
And that's a strikeout for Gonzalez, the second of the game for him. 1-2-3, down goal the Lowell Spinners. About 1/3 of the way through his outing, his manager said he'll go 90. No score yet from Brooklyn. This is the scene at MCU Park. Fans pumped up for a team that suddenly has received a good chunk of talent, college talent. The Brooklyn Cyclones now have 7 of the top 11 draft picks from the New York Mets this year. The first 11 all college players. The picturesque background at MCU Park with the rides behind. And Pete Alonso, front and center. The University of Florida Gator, about a week into the job with Brooklyn, facing a fellow alum in Brian Johnson and connecting, but a leaping Revelis makes the first out on the first pitch.
Sounded like a broken bat right there, and you know what he wanted to do. Did not want to let the big man get his arms extended. Gets that cutter in on the hands right there. Almost strong enough to muscle it into the outfield. Didn't have to jump very high, just had to time his jump. 1 out. That's the big difference right there. Aluminum bat, that might be in the gap.
Broke his bat. He'll pick up a new one next time around. This is the first trip to the plate for Colby Woodmansee. So far, so good. 284, 2 homers. He's driven in 10 in his first 19 games.
And by the time you said all that, it's already 0-2. This guy likes to work fast.
Well, the player comp that I read in the scouting report, a Mark Burley type, that makes a ton of sense. 4 pitches, attacks batters, has command of them, and works very quickly like he's got an early dinner reservation.
He wants that dinner reservation back up in Boston. He doesn't want it down here, I can tell you that.
It was a rocky beginning of the season for Johnson. ERA at 4.64 at AAA Pawtucket. He was placed on the temporary inactive list in mid-May.
Good to see him back out here and dealing with it. I know Zach Greinke dealt with it, had to take a whole year off. People, you know, forget about that time in Greinke's life where I didn't think he could pitch in a big market for a big market team. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and you knew he was going to get a big contract, and you kind of knew that New York Yankees wasn't going to be his calling, no matter how much money they threw at him. Then he goes over to LA, and he was honest. First thing he said was, "Why'd you go take LA?" Well, they paid me the most.
And that's why he's now a Diamondback.
No shame in his game.
Johnson almost looks like he knows he doesn't belong here, the way that he's breezing through hitters right now.
Tell you what, there's many a major leaguer who goes down on rehab assignment regretfully. Because it's tough to set these hitters up sometimes. These guys are so anxious to get at some big league pitching and, you know, make a name for themselves. They're in attack mode. They're in hack mode. You make one mistake over the middle of the plate, they want to turn you around. I mean, I've seen it so many times, especially in spring training. A guy like Johan Santana would be on the backfield facing a team and give up 7 runs in an inning. Couldn't get out of it. They were like, okay, your pitch count is, you know, 70 pitches. You're at 35 already. I might have to take you out.
And while you were saying that, another strikeout for Brian Johnson. It's his 3rd.
Likes to work quick. Again, 4 pitches. He has the advantage. They've never seen him. Not a great location, but you see that little cutting action to it. The ball has late life. They don't know if it's going to stay up there, if it's a hanging pitch, but it does have that little bit of movement towards the end. That's the biggest key to success against hitters at this level. Or any level at that case.
Now the Mets' 3rd round pick, Blake Taberry, 21 years old, out of the University of Louisville. Pitch into left field. Acosta gives it a look. Towards the line, makes the catch. And now 6 straight retired by Brian Johnson. We'll talk to manager Tom Gamboa. The Brooklyn Cyclones dugout will join us in a moment. Rolling into the 3rd inning of a scoreless contest in Brooklyn. Oops. Is that supposed to happen?
I don't think it was supposed to happen to that magnitude. Maybe a glancing blow, but hey, he seems to like it.
The Spinners and the Cyclones collide. Harold Gonzalez ready for his 3rd inning, and we'll bring in his manager, Tom Gamboa, joining us for the frame. Tom, thanks for coming on. And this team is facing a tough test this evening because Brian Johnson even had 1 major league start last year, and he hangs out in AAA normally.
That's right. Yeah, Scott, Nelson, it's good to have you guys back at the park. A beautiful night for the game. And yeah, Sean Ratliff, our hitting coach, looked up because Johnson wasn't on their roster. And when Rat looked up his stats on the computer, he found that he's a AAA pitcher on rehab. And as you mentioned, he got a 1 start in the big leagues last year. So his experience shows. It looks like he's throwing a lot of cutters in on right-handed hitters trying to tie him up. And when you can jam Pete Alonso as strong as he is, you've made a good pitch.
Hey, this is Figgy. Just wanted to ask you about Justin Dunn. I mean, obviously got to go with the big gun right off the bat. What are your first impressions of him?
Oh, gosh. I wish he was throwing tonight so you guys could see him because the Mets made a real wise decision in taking him #1. out of Boston College. Justin, as good an athlete and a pitcher he is, he's an even better person. I mean, he's the way that every parent hopes that their kid was raised to be. I mean, he's very intelligent, he's very humble, he's a student of the game, and he's very athletic on the mound. I mean, he's got a very loose arm, and it's an effortless delivery, and it's 95 almost all the time, and it's often at 97. And to be able to have that loose an arm, to be able to do it with that ease, it's a real solid delivery. He's on a pitch count, obviously, so he's been throwing 2 innings every 6 days, and we just found out today for our pitching coordinator, they're going to expand it. He's going to starting on the 24th and throw 3 innings, but that'll be the max that he goes at any time this year.
Nice. Yeah. Was watching right there in that graphic they showed him. He had a change-up grip in his photo. I don't know if I've ever seen a first-round draft pick take a photo with a change-up grip. So that shows you the kind of confidence this kid has.
That's how you stand out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the whole club warmed up to him right away because of his personality, and that's not always the case. But he's just been terrific. You know, he's had 2 outings. He picked up a win in his last appearance, and it's just fun to watch him throw because, you know, with the plethora of arm injuries these days, you never really know. But when you get a guy that has a loose arm and with a mechanically sound delivery and does it without effort, the percentages are in your favor. And you know, I applaud the Mets scouting staff in coming up with him as our first-round guy because we're real happy with what we've seen so far.
Harold Gonzalez doesn't throw as hard, but he's now picked up back-to-back Ks, 4 on the evening already. But, Coach, I want to ask you about Pete Alonso. What does he need to work on? We've seen some of the positive from him and read about the power. What's going to help him get to the next step? Ground ball will have to get back to the next inning because it's a 1-2-3. As Matt McClain is retired, Harold Gonzalez getting the job done. More from Mr. Gamboa in a moment.
Come on.
A beautiful evening for baseball in Brooklyn. No score yet between the Spinners and the Cyclones. Bottom 3rd portion of the order due up for Brooklyn. And we appreciate Tom Gamboa sticking around for us. And we don't see you out there covering 3rd base, but I know the rest of your coaching staff can handle it. But did want to keep going on Pete Alonso and the strength that he brings to the table, but also what he needs to work on to move up to the next level.
Yeah, well, Pete just joined us. This is his 6th pro game, and he's hitting all 5 that he's played in. And I tell you, we've been impressed. I mean, through this first week of pro ball, for a big man, usually you're wondering if they're going to be somebody like, you know, Steve Balboni or Dave Kingman, where obviously there's power when you look at a guy that as big as he is. He looks like a tight end in football, but we've been impressed with his bat control. I mean, he's already hit some balls the opposite way. As I mentioned, he's hitting all 5 games, and he struck out a couple times, but he's a guy that takes a lot of pride in looking for his pitch and hitting the ball where it's pitched. And obviously, when you watch him take batting practice, he's got mega power, and that's obviously what the Mets had signed him for. But a great work ethic, and he's going to fit in real nice with the Mets organization.
Hey, Tom, is there anybody that stood out to you that has made any improvements or the most improvements since the beginning of the season? Because I know the roster has changed a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point, Nelson. And you guys saw a lot of it in that 20-inning game. God forbid that happens again tonight. But, yeah, our center fielder, Jacob Zanin, has played very well defensively from the get-go. And although his average doesn't reflect it, it was so low, he's been really coming on for us. He's coming off a real nice series at Aberdeen. He's hit a couple of home runs, and all of a sudden he's 9 for 10 in stolen bases, and he's got a real good first step. And, you know, I'm noticing in the big leagues there's starting to get to be more of an emphasis, and I've heard even about our own club, and certainly the addition of bringing Jose Reyes back, where we want to try to get more speed. And I think that Jacob brings some athleticism and some speed if, you know, as he develops, if he's a type of guy that could, you know, that ends up getting to the big leagues, he's going to be a guy that can steal some bases, as is the real exciting guy, and we only got to see him yesterday in his pro debut, is Michael Paez, who debuted at shortstop yesterday. He's playing second base tonight. He was on the College World Series Championship Coastal Carolina club, so that's why he joined us late. but oh my gosh, he brings a wealth of, just watching him work out for 4 days, the athleticism, run, throw, field, being able to throw from all angles, from shortstop and from second, being a leadoff guy. He should be a very exciting player to watch for the people here in Brooklyn and for Mets fans in the years to come.
Ali Sanchez had a base hit to begin the frame for Brooklyn. Now it's Jay Jabs, who has played some third base for this team, but not for 2 days when Mr. Reyes was in town. What kind of impact did he make on this ball club, besides the fact, Tom, that your team won both games?
Yeah, well, you know, for these kids, yeah, I call them kids, they're right out of college, but for them to get a chance for 2 days to locker with and chat with in the clubhouse, a guy that they had watched on television, to be able to rub elbows with him, so to speak, and more importantly, to see Jose's work ethic. Because, you know, the Mets chose Edgar Alfonso to be kind of Fonzie's personal coach when he re-signed. You know, Jose had never played third. So Fonzie had him out here early, hitting him ground balls, backhands, forehands, slow hit balls, talking to him about positioning. And for our guys to come out and see that Reyes was already here on the field working early, and the way that he worked in his BP and his base running to get his legs back in shape, it was real good for them to see that here's a multi-million-dollar big league player that was working his butt off to try to get his, you know, get himself back in shape so that he could cut down the rehab time to get ready to help the big club. So that was key for us, you know, because it just helps in their own motivation to realize you don't just show up and play this game. There's a lot of work that goes in.
And now Jose is thriving with the big league club. This inning could be done in a moment, so Tom, we'll let you get back to work. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk again next time.
Okay, Scott, Nelson, good having you guys here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Third year as manager of the Brooklyn Cyclones, Tom Gamboa, a roller off the bat of Berrios, and it's not corralled by Tubbs, so the 9-hitter is safe at first, and the inning continues.
Back up the middle, slowly hit, nice range right here. Trips up on his feet a little bit, see the jump throw. With the jump throw, watch the angle that his arm is in. Straight to the ground, that short hop. Gives the first baseman trouble. He's awarded a hit for his hustle.
Second hit of the contest for the Cyclones. Second hit of the inning. Ali Sanchez was erased by the double play. Jay Jabs lined one to Tubbs, who stepped on the bat. But we go back to the top of the lineup, and Michael Paez. Johnson struck out Paez first time around.
You don't see too many straight fastballs from Johnson. Just really trying to paint the corners. You see the catcher even setting up away most of the time. Guy with a cutter, normally you're going to see in. He's able to bring it right there, back over that outside corner over and over again. Get the hitter leaning out a little bit too much. That sets up the real cutter he wants to throw in on the hands to get those broken bats and swings and misses.
That's what Gamboa pointed out his batters are having trouble with. It's down the line. That's a fair ball. It's past Baldwin, and we're going past second base and stopping at third. No, he'll keep going. Is Berrios slide home, and he's out before he made it there. It looked like Berrios was going to hold up at third, and then he got cranking again. And that'll retire the side.
Nice play right here, picks it up, barehanded out of the corner, throws it to his cutoff man, who's right there, second guesses. He thought he was going to stop at third as well. Makes a strong throw at home, one hop, able to put the tag on, he's out of the plate.
A daredevil on the base pass, but he comes up short, so nothing for the Cyclones after 3. MCU Park, we're up there outdoors to call this game on SNY. Second, third, and fourth place hitters in the Lowell lineup against Harold Nothing going for the Spinners besides the leadoff walk to Matt McLean to begin the game. He's been perfect since then, including a stretch of 3 consecutive strikeouts. And Gonzalez got McLean to ground into it 4-3. That retired the side in the 3rd.
Please.
First up, Chris Madera in the 4th. First-year manager Iggy Suarez. He just turned 35 years old. A little bit of an age gap between opposing managers.
Iggy actually played baseball with my brothers.
Did he?
Yeah. Came up to me right after we did the intro for the game. Let me know. It's like, tell your brothers I said hi. I played with them back in college.
Well, he takes over for Joe Oliver, former big leaguer. In the air, pointing to it as Gonzalez, then getting out of the way. And the call's made by Woodmansey. 1 down. So Joe Oliver moves on, and last year Suarez was the hitting coach. So now he takes over as the skipper. And the pitching coach here is Lance Carter, who had some big league time, including a 2003 season as a Tampa Bay Devil Ray, where he was named an All-Star.
I remember him well. Played against him many a year on that journey up and down from the big leagues.
Are you ready for this?
This is Ryan Scott.
Wow.
It's a learning experience for the players, but also for a coach that's in his low 30s.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's very difficult when you're at that age where you kind of still feel like you can play. You still feel like, you know, you want to show them how to do everything, but to be able to get your message across and be respected, that's really what you want to be able to do. It's more with your words and your actions, especially at the lower levels.
Off speed on the 1-1. It's 1-2.
I mean, you saw how Bonds embarrassed the Miami Marlins down in spring training when they had a little home run derby. And of course, Bonds was going to win that, even though he hasn't, you know, picked up a bat and put on a uniform in several years. He proved it.
50th pitch is delivered low. And some of the younger coaches do have the advantage of saying, I just did this. I've been around this block just a few years ago, for players to look up to.
Usually what they tell them is, I just did this and I didn't do it well. That's why I'm here.
Listen to me, I'll steer you in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, Gonzalez is doing a really nice job of mixing up his slider and changeups, trying to use both to both hitters, lefties and righties. They're both at about 84 miles an hour. That makes it very difficult to pick up the spin on either one. With a curveball there for a change of pace, try to get him off of that change up. See if maybe that pitching backwards will come into play here with a 2-2 fastball up in the strike zone. Try to slow him down with that curveball, now speed him up.
Tom said he'll freeze hitters in this situation sometimes. No swing.
Tried it. Here it is again, that short, quick motion, boom. Just off the corner on the inside part. There's a two-seamer he probably wanted to bring back. That's something he has to learn, that finger pressure, to bring it back and not make it stay so true, or maybe even cut a little bit. And you're learning still how to do that. It's a work in progress, so it's something he can, it seems to work in the bullpen real well. And then you bring it out to a ball game and it doesn't really, it's not there just yet.
The Lowell Spinners ranked 3rd in the league in batting average. Good at bat put together by Ryan Scott. Sunday on Jets Nation, David Harris shares his thoughts on the revamped Jets defense. Plus, the crew weighs in on what rookie could be the biggest difference maker this season on Jets Nation. Sunday at 7, only on SNY. Three-ball, two-strike pitch. Sharply to Alonso, and he collects. It's 2 down.
Nice fundamentals right there by Alonso. 2 hands, getting his body over, shuffling his feet. Keeping that ball right between it, right his nose over on top of the baseball. Watch him move his feet to the left. There it is. Just in case that ball takes a tricky hop, it's going to hit off of his chest. Almost like we said, like a catcher. Knock it down, keep it in front of you. Pitch is going over the cover. Oh, Gonzalez may have tweaked his ankle running over the cover, actually.
Which would be a shame. He's been on a roll. He's retired 11 straight since that leadoff walk.
Between sections 3 and 5 on the concourse, it's your chance to win a bus operator Sandy bobblehead. All you need to do is drop off your business card. You could be a winner. You should
Take a look to see if it's off the mound right there. He starts to run. Oh, right before the bag, right where the turf changes from that synthetic grass. Just caught right at the end there.
And that's the right foot. How much would that affect him on the mound?
That pushing off constantly, just that hinge factor, you start to lose that flexibility. If it starts to swell up even just a little bit, they'll probably try and get him through. If he's able to pitch and throw off the mound right now, he's tightening up his spikes right now a little bit tighter, try and get himself through this so he can get inside, maybe get it wrapped a little bit, a little more support there. If it was that bad, he would have been on the ground holding it. We'll see if he can just get through it right here. He's going to try and push off, give it a whirl.
And this is short season A ball, so you wonder how cautious Tom Gamboa and his coaching staff will be with him.
See, that's exactly the way he's rolling. The way he's pushing on it right there, that's how he felt he rolled it. Just that quick little give. See him throw one more.
Almost lost the hat on that delivery.
Said he feels good even though he threw the ball away. Tried to push through it, overdo it a little bit just to see if he could. Now we'll see. This will be a real speed one for himself.
That pitch caught a good part of the plate.
Says he's fine.
And the pitch count for him, roughly 90 tonight. He's only at 56, about 35 pitches left.
Some action in the pen, just in case. He's convinced Gamboa and the trainer.
Just like his idol telling Grady Little, I'm good. Growing up watching Pedro Martinez, he was fussy when the manager came to the mound to take him out of the game. Were you the same way?
Oh, yeah.
Dylan Becker warming up.
What happened?
You get one chance to play a week, once every 5 days. You want to make sure you're out there as long as you can be, especially when you're pitching such a gem like he is right now. You want to give it all you got as long as you got. If you feel that you can get through it, it only builds character.
Roldani Baldwin takes the pitch for a strike. The only thing that holds back Nelson Figueroa is a strict pitch count in a game like in the World Baseball Classic where you can't go past a certain number.
Oh, rules and more rules. Has a really good slider. Look at this, how short and quick his motion is. They're still trying to read if it's a fastball, and it's too late by then. That ball moved almost a foot outside of the strike zone, got the swing and miss.
To Barry, to Alonso, and again, great work from the starting pitcher Gonzalez. He has sat down 12 straight, no score. This is Terror up the Thunderbolt. Opened in June of 2014, named after the now torn down wooden roller coaster that was built in Coney Island in 1925 and then demolished in 2000. That's 125 feet high. And loop to loop we go. Home half of the fourth inning. Harold Gonzalez receiving some treatment. Hopefully he can continue because he is in cruise control right now for Brooklyn.
Absolutely. Have you ridden the Thunderbolt?
I have not. Have you?
Oh, yeah. From Coney Island. Of course I have.
I haven't hit any rides yet. They're closed by the time the game concludes.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
You got to get in a little bit earlier. Definitely have to. It's definitely worth the ride.
I don't want to do it before the game, though, because I'll be dizzy during the broadcast.
Shake it off. Come on.
Nick Sergakis is the 2-hitter. Brian Johnson fanned him the first time. Big looping breaking ball, 69 miles per hour. It's 2-1.
That's something you see from those older players, a little bit craftier, taking off speed. Last one that he threw at 73 miles an hour, got waffled down the line for a double.
He was the number 6 prospect, according to MLB.com, in the Red Sox system. They trade away somebody above him, so he moves up to number 5. And a 5-pitch walk. Sergakis is aboard.
Seems like most of the pitches that he throws have that action of down and in towards a righty, down and in towards a righty. So you start losing the feel of that direction and try and go the other way to get that sinking action. Then you lose the feel of that cutting action that you had built up in the beginning of the game. That was working great for him. Now he seems to be kind of caught in between. There it is.
Jacob Zanin out of Beaverton, Oregon. 5th-round pick by the Mets out of Lewis Clark State. That's in Idaho. Again, with that breaking ball, it misses. So maybe he's working on some pitches as well as he moves his way up.
You get the second time through the lineup, start trying to give some different looks.
The Cyclones hitters have actually been patient against Brian Johnson, especially on that first pitch.
Which wasn't really helping them that first time through the lineup.
Pop shot. And the center fielder, McClain, has it. That's the first out. Sergakis retreats to first. Now another turn for Pete Alonso, the Mets' 2nd-round pick. He has had a flurry of injuries in his career in college, although most of them would be filed under the fluke list. Broken foot and a broken nose in 2015 when a ball bounced off the batting cage and hit him during BP.
And broke his foot and his nose?
Yes. A small fracture in his left hand this year after he was hit by a pitch. He is a big guy, 6'3", 225 pounds. His manager told us last inning he's like a tight end out there. Part of a stacked University of Florida class this year. 5 players drafted in the first 70 picks. And that includes a player on the opposing side, the closer for the Gators this year, Sean Anderson. Florida was ranked number 1 for most of the season. They head into the College World Series, and Michael Paez in Coastal Carolina give them their first loss. Another loss the next time around, and they were done.
That's how quick it happened for you. Ranked number 1 most of the way, and 2 in barbecue. Tell you what, I think he doesn't like undershirts either, or they don't have one that fits him. Bare-chested up there.
The Grizzly look. Foul ball right side, and that'll move out of play. And he is all business. Tom was telling us during the commercial break that he'll crack a joke. Sometimes Pete doesn't get it. Or maybe doesn't want to get it.
Tell you what, he's focused, and he's got one thing in mind. He wants to prove that he can get to the big leagues as fast as he can. Try and improve every day. He's a workaholic.
His college season finished up as a .374 batting average, 14 home runs, lays off the 0-2 down in the dirt. Drove in 60 in 58 games. His walk to strikeout ratio was about even.
Exactly even.
He's not a feast or famine guy.
Yeah, 31 and 31. And you can put up power numbers with that and a high batting average. What's not to like?
The 1-2 is off to the left side near the Lowell dugout, and it goes over the fencing.
And again, that's what Gamboa was telling us about him, is that his ability to work the bat in different ways, just to foul that pitch off, to now hopefully get a pitch that he can handle a little bit better and get his arms extended and drive a ball. A lot of players, they won't do that. They want to take that big hack all the time. He obviously knows that, hey, I might have been beat with this pitch. Let me just foul it off and try and get a better one.
1-2. Hang tight, 2-2. And we just saw Edgardo Alfonso welcome back. He was hanging out with Jose Reyes as his personal coach. Gamboa was telling us about that experience that he had. But he followed him after his time with Brooklyn, so this is the first game back as bench coach. Battling at bat from Peter Alonso.
Somebody want to teach him how to field?
Driving up that pitch count of Brian Johnson so that they can get to a less experienced bullpen.
Well, they went 4 innings last time out in the Gulf Coast League, right?
Yes.
Starting to see a little bit of that fatigue. Pitches are up in the strike zone. He's not as fine with that command. Struggling to throw all his pitches like he was, unlike earlier, I mean. Oh, jammed him there.
He did. And the second baseman, Madera, comes in to make the catch. 2 Cyclones retired. Is that Tubbs' ball?
That's an in-betweener right there where most likely he should have taken it, but he was called off. Just when you get that close to someone who's bigger than you, you kind of flinch. Want to make sure you don't crash into someone that big.
And this is not the big leagues. Most of these players have not worked together. Right. They're meeting each other. Maybe only playing together for a few weeks at this point, if not less. Most of the Cyclones just starting to get a rapport together. Colby Woodmansee, the next hitter. This team is now up to 16 position players. It's a good number. And it makes it difficult for Tom Gamboa to fill out a lineup card on a daily basis.
How many of these guys were in the lineup the last game we did?
So the last game we did was approximately 3 weeks ago. It was the first week of the season, game number 4 for the Cyclones. Sergakis was there, Jacob Zanin, Woodmansee, who's up right now, Ali Sanchez, Jay Jabs. So 5 out of 9.
I mean, it was 17-inning game. I think everybody got into that game.
They did. Even position players on the mound. Runner on the move, and there's the throw to second. It's off the mark, and it's past the second baseman, Madera. But holding up is Sergakis at second with the stolen bag.
Hanging breaking ball, like I said right there, not able to finish it off. Catcher's throw is wide to the right. Something that he will learn is when he slides head first look should be towards your third base coach. Third base coach would be able to tell him, come towards me, because he knows the throw's in the outfield. But when he just takes a look down, he doesn't realize where the ball is. No chance to get the third.
He has a large lead. And Revelis almost beat him back to the bag.
A little too anxious. He gave it away early. He could have just came behind him, a little glove tap, act like he was moving back. Then he would have had a better chance of getting him with the flash play. You flash your glove as the shortstop.
Sergakis is a feisty player.
Just lets the pitcher know. When you're the shortstop, you flash your glove, lets the pitcher know that I'm going to be there. Throw it right over the bag. I'm going to try and get to it and make a quick tag behind me to get the runner out. So he is sliding in, right? Does everything right, everything correct, but now he's looking almost that way. Can't tell the depth. When you're laying down on the ground, you just made that stolen base. you can't get the depth perception of how much distance is between that ball and the center fielder. If you look up to the left, you can see your coach telling you to come or stay right there.
And that's a strikeout for Brian Johnson, the 4th of the game from him. So the Cyclones strand the runner at second base after 4, still no score. Pitching duel brewing. The Spinners and the Cyclones play the top of the 5th, and Figgy, the Spinners haven't found a hit against Harold Gonzalez yet.
Yeah, he showed all his pitches. There's that changeup we know is his plus pitch. Had a nice little cutter working, almost the same speed on it. Slow breaking ball right there, slow curveball. Now watch his cutter. Just a little bit of action at the end. Looks like a fastball coming out of his hand. That short, quick delivery. That's what makes it really difficult to pick up what the pitch is, and when the pitches are kind of similar in speed and breaking in different directions, makes them really tough to hit.
Besides the free pass that Matt McLean earned, the leadoff hitter for Lowell to start the game, everybody else has sat down. 12 straight retired. And pitch number 60 is to Jerry Downs. He's out of Miami, Florida, 22 years old, drafted in 2015 by the Red Sox in the 15th round out of St. Thomas University.
Can you hear me now?
Tremendous changeup. I mean, that thing drops straight down, has real good arm action, looks just like his fastball.
And his 2-1 finds the strike zone.
So he showed him 2 cutters that were kind of down and away, now 2 changeups, down and away, down and away. Now all of a sudden a little backdoor cutter that holds the corner instead of falling off.
The Mets found Gonzalez in March of 2014. They signed him as an international free agent out of the Dominican Republic. He's 21, and his 3-2 is clocked foul.
He does a nice job of staying off the barrel of the bat for most of these hitters, moving the ball just in and out of the strike zone, trying to use movement and location, and just varying his pitches, not trying to sit down the middle of the plate.
Pitching with a tender ankle as he ran over to first base to try and cover the bag. Came up limp. Still looking good. Cues up a fly ball. High in the air to Taberi. Moves to his left. And that's the first out.
3-2, not afraid to throw his changeup and use it right there. Had the cutter pulled foul, then went with the changeup. Gets it off the end of the bat. Again, didn't get it squared up on the barrel, gets the pop-up.
And now faces Tucker Tubbs. One of the better power hitters on this team. Watches the breaking ball, so here he goes pitching backwards.
Very nice. First pitch curveball for a strike. Then he goes and it looks like a fastball, but it's that little cutter at 84. See how he finishes him off.
Mixing his pitches, changing speeds. And the 0-2 is the fastball, frozen. Strike 3.
I think it was actually a changeup. He got you with that one, 84. Set up high with it. See that drop down right there? It was kind of weird. You normally don't see a catcher set up with that high target when it's a changeup. But the action on it, he wanted him to release it where it looked like it was going to be high. That drop motion going down in the strike zone for strike 3.
Took a little bit off of that pitch. Picked up his 5th strikeout so far, dealing in the 5th. Now up to 70 pitches.
think I know why the velocity readings have been strange the last time. I'll let you know.
Please do. That's 74.
Well, that radar gun down there is facing the shortstop right now. So when he throws to different sides of the plate, that may have been a fastball. But it got a reading because it cut through the radar gun, not to the radar gun.
Weekly roll to short, Woodmansee. And now 15 consecutive batters retired by Harold Gonzalez. Will ask his pitching coach, Bill Brick Jr., how he looks. We're still looking for our first run in Brooklyn tonight as we enter the home half of the 5th inning. And the Cyclones have Blake Taberry stepping up first. And we'll talk to the pitching coach of the Brooklyn Cyclones. Billy Brick Jr. joins us right now. Bill, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
And we're watching a masterful performance from Harold Gonzalez right now. He hasn't allowed a hit against Lowell. Is this the best you've seen from him so far?
Oh, you know what? I've seen a lot of great things from Harold, but let's not talk about the first thing that we mentioned. We usually don't mention those things in these types of games.
Hey, Gonzalez, has all 4 pitches and the ability to use them. Now, with his mechanics, I know he loves Pedro. Now, do you try and tinker with that, or you let him just ride it out?
Like I tell each one of my guys, I mean, like you're not going to teach your hitters to hit like Pujols. Pujols is Pujols, and Pedro Martinez is Pedro. And I tell Harold all the time, I go, you're Harold Gonzalez. And the funny thing, before I came out here, I had a pitcher last year in the Frontier League. His name was Ariel Hernandez, who gave me a heads up on Harold. And so I had a brief background on him. And, the kid is just improved every day, and just from extended, you've seen him roll his ankle there in the last inning, or the 2 innings ago. It was a little bit of a scare because he did it in extended, but the kid, he battles each week, and he's looking to get that perfect game that we're searching for today.
Taberry bounces out to short. That's the first out of the frame. And I do mention the line, Bill, because normally, even if a pitcher has a no-hitter brewing, he can't go the distance in the minor leagues.
You're right
What's
about
the
that.
leash for him tonight?
Yeah, you're right about that. We've got him about 95 to 100, so we're going to keep him around there. Also, we're just monitoring his ankle each inning. But back to talking about his mechanics. He's got great mechanics. We've been working on his line on his lower half. A few weeks ago, he was opening up, and he makes adjustments on the fly better than anybody we have on our staff. Oh, come on, ball. No.
Yeah, tremendous feel it looks like out there. Using his changeup and cutter almost interchangeably for lefties, righties. Very comfortable with doing both that way.
That's good. Good on your guys' part. You guys noticed the cutter. It's something we actually added about 2.5–3 weeks ago, and it's something that you have to have a repeatable delivery in order to throw. My dad was actually in Baseball America about 6 to 8 years ago talking about the cutter is going to be like the changeup. No one used to have it. Now everyone has it. And you look around in the big leagues, and a lot of pitchers in the big leagues, they have it. And in order to have that pitch, you have to have a delivery that's repeatable. And for Harold's credit, that's why we've added it in the mix. It's a 4-seam fastball that you off center, and you have to make sure you stay on top of it in order for it to cut and hint the name cut fastball. It's one of the easiest pitches to throw, but at the same time hardest pitch because guys start to try to manufacture it. You see this left-hander that's throwing against us today. He's been utilizing that cutter as well. I know early in the game he got underneath one, and it was a high one that I think, who was it? It was one of our right-handed. It was actually Woodmansee. He struck out on a high cutter, and it was actually a mistake on him, but he got away with one there.
Yeah. Now Justin Dunn is here, and we talk about Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Well, what have you seen from Justin Dunn?
Oh, Dunn, he's got electric stuff. Actually, we have to write great game reports after the game. And they told me I had to settle down a little bit after his game report because usually we keep it short and sweet. I've done some part-time scouting the past few years, and usually keep it short and just straight to the point. But with his, I had a big paragraph, and it was just talking about how he could be a third starter in anybody's rotation, and then also a back-end guy at the least. But I think the way his arm works and the way it's fluid and his delivery is repeatable. I mean, you see a lot of longevity in that arm, and it's long and loose, and the guy throws 94 to 97. He even touched 98 so far, and the sky's the limit for that kid. He's a great human being on and off the field.
Jay Jabs has one in the air, and it lands in Baldwin's glove. That's the second out, and we had the base hit up the middle from Ali Sanchez. We'll see if the Cyclones can string together a few more hits and let you get back to work. Bill, thanks so much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
The pitching coach for his first go-round with the Cyclones, Bill Brick Jr., and he mentioned his father, who's a special assistant to the general manager with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now Arnaldo Barrios. Base hit back in the 3rd inning. It was an infield single. Two nice at-bats from Ali Sanchez, who's at first. Both up the middle. He's a contact hitting catcher. Number 15, according to MLB.com, in the Mets system.
We often talk about how this ballpark is a graveyard for fly balls. And so you can see him kind of tailoring his game to this ballpark, especially on turf. If you're going to hit the ball hard and on the ground, it has a better chance of being a hit.
There is no wind tonight, which is rare at MCU Park. But on some nights, when the wind is coming in from the ocean, 325 feet down the right field line can feel like 425. Look at that flag. Nothing going. 0-2 nastiness. Off-speed stuff from Brian Johnson. And that is his 5th strikeout. So the runner is stranded. Barrios watching that one dip downstairs. No runs yet after 5. Brooklyn Cyclones baseball on SNY is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. This is what goes down between innings in minor league baseball. Have you ever done this, Nelson?
I have, and not only that, my first year in pro ball in Kingsport, Tennessee, when they would do the dizzy bat contest, our pitching coach, Dave Jordan, wouldn't let us watch. He wanted you focused on the game because guys would lose it, laughing at it and think it was funny and silly, and you lose your concentration and your focus. First thing he did is told us, put a towel over your head and focus on the game.
Harold Gonzalez is locked in right now. No hits from the Lowell Spinners. 8, 9, and 1 due up at the plate. And it starts with Steven Rebellis, who was a strikeout victim in the 3rd. He flinched on the breaker.
Doing a tremendous job of moving the ball around the strike zone, changing speeds. The deeper he goes in this ball game, you see him doing more and more of that. Tried it there with a big bender. Wasn't able to finish it off and get it down as low as he wanted to. See if he makes the adjustment.
One, 2 gets him chasing, and that's the 6th strikeout for Gonzalez. 16 retired in a row.
So after that big bender that didn't finish all the way, there's that cutter they've been working on. Hitter sees fastball, that late break, boom, straight down onto the plate, swings over the top of it. It's really good deceptive delivery that he has with that cutter. I think it plays a lot better than the slow curve for him.
Nick Shortino drops a bunt down. Gonzalez bare hand, and the toss is accurate for the 2nd out.
Oh, what a no-no right there. It's early in the ball game, I get it. But taking advantage of a man who just got his ankle wrapped an inning ago. See him right there, a stutter step with that right foot. That was the ankle that was hurt. Comes up, makes a strong throw to first base. He'll remember that the next time he comes up.
So will Gonzalez's teammate Justin Dunn, because that was his catcher over in school at Boston College. Shortino, 17th round pick out of BC this year. And back to the top of the lineup with Matt McLean. It's almost as if these two pitchers are feeding off each other. Everything around the strike zone this evening. And he seems to be working quicker now.
Well, he's been working very quick in the windup. He has a nice groove that he gets into, and that puts onus on the hitter to really focus up on what pitches did he throw me before, what pitches did he throw me in the previous at-bat, you always want to keep a hitter guessing and trying to think out there. When you can do that, it's your advantage.
And that 1-2 hit him. McLean gets up quickly and hobbles over to first.
I don't think that's the message he was trying to send. Was after that bunt, oh, yanked it big time right there. Allie was standing up on the outside part of the plate, just ball yanked right across the plate, hits him in the back of the calf.
It's just the second base runner for Lowell tonight. It snaps a streak of 17 straight retired by the starter. This is Chris Madera. A center fielder who can run tonight. He's over at second base. And now we do see the change of pace as he takes his time.
That's something that a pitching coach will probably try and work into, get that rhythm and timing down for both. So maybe a little bit slower in the windup and a little quicker in the stretch.
Do you want the amount of time between pitches to remain the same if a guy is on base versus the bag's empty?
Well, I think the setup to throw your next pitch, you want to work as quickly as you can. But at the same time, when he varies his times of holding the ball, that makes a runner anxious. And the runner is not able to say, okay, I'm counting it out loud. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. He's throwing home. So he didn't throw home right there. Upsets the timing.
It's going to be a tough play. But Taberi makes a snap throw to first. And that will retire the side. Blake Taberi showing off the glove and the strong arm. In stride on the chopper. And now 6 innings of shutout baseball from Harold Gonzalez. Alonso reaching for the catch, and we'll head to the bottom half of the 6th. 44 years after the Brooklyn Dodgers moved to Los Angeles, the Cyclones were born, and there's been a lot of sunshine in this organization's past. They've only missed the postseason 6 times over 15 years, and only 4 teams out of 14 make it to the playoffs. Pat Getz replaces Brian Johnson, and this is a very different look coming at the Cyclones.
Yeah. Used to be a guy who threw over the top, has dropped down sidearm this season, try and get more deception.
First pitch is shipped to right field, and the catch is made by Scott for the first out. That sits down Michael Paez.
He had Tommy John in 2012. And since then has been trying to find a way to come back and use his pitches more effectively, dropping down that sidearm could be the key, a relief role, getting to the big leagues a little quicker.
Now Nick Sergakis. He walked in the 4th. Stole a bag, but was stranded there.
6'6". Normally you want to use your height to your advantage, but he takes away his height when he drops down.
Who does that in the major leagues on the Royals? Chris Young.
Yeah, but he doesn't drop down that far. He uses his height to his advantage. Everybody sees him and they think, okay, this ball's coming out of his arm 95, 96. But it comes out like changeups every time. That's what makes him so tough to hit, because he has that height advantage. You're not used to looking up that high for a ball for a delivery. So it's very different for someone this tall to say, you know what, I don't need my height. I'm going to use my velocity and the deception down low to try and get you out.
What about the extension of his front leg towards home? So it's almost like he picks up a few inches closer to home plate.
Yeah. Any bit that you can gain going towards home adds to your velocity. The visual velocity. It may not show up in the radar gun, but the hitter sees it as being closer to them.
Another walk for Sergakis. He's aboard for the 2nd consecutive time. Cyclones had a chance in the 3rd inning. Barrios was aggressive on the base paths after the Paez double, and he was toast at home. It was close. It almost surprised the Lowell Spinners that he was on the move all the way home.
It did. It was a double clutch right there by the shortstop. Almost hit the 3rd baseman on the relay. He had to duck out of the way.
This is Jacob Zanin.
We picked him in the 2nd round.
How difficult is it to pick up this baseball with Zanin at the plate, a righty bat,
Pitching.
and gets utilizing
The first round
the
pick
3rd
done.
base side of the rubber.
A run at all.
Here comes the 1-0 instead of check to first.
The other guy, he just signed.
Yeah, it's not
yesterday.
easy because
So we'll see
it
if
takes
he
some
comes.
time getting used to it. And you haven't probably seen that, especially from a guy this tall. He's stepping towards you, everything is firing right towards you, and he's slinging it across his body. It's almost like he's falling towards 3rd base, like from the shortstop's angle, and firing it home. He wanted deception, he's got some deception.
The Tommy John surgery back in 2012. His pitching coach, Lance Johnson. Lance Carter, excuse me, Lance Johnson, the old Mets leadoff hitter. But check out the delivery.
Yeah, for a guy who's all arms and legs, to be that compact and quick with a runner on base, that's going to be a tough task.
Fools him on the 2-1. I was going to say, his pitching coach, Lance Carter, had 2 Tommy John surgeries.
That's why it's his pitching coach.
That's right. The percentage chance of coming back after the 2nd go-around under the knife with that surgery decreases significantly. Here's the 2-2. And that's in the air. Shortino watches it over the netting.
Beautiful view.
Uppercut swing. The shortstop, Revelis, had his eye on it the whole time.
That's that
second out.
Sorry, that's that breaking ball from the side armor. Starts almost behind the hitter. He sees that ball as maybe being a hanger. He's going to try and turn on it. Starts breaking a little bit more than he thought. Jams himself trying to make the adjustment mid-swing.
Here comes Pete Alonso. Tom Gamboa said that his first home run was one-handed. The brute strength, the blue-collar attitude.
Very generous strike zone for both sides. That's what you really want as a pitcher, is consistency. At least he's doing it on both sides.
I want some offense. Just like last at-bat, Alonso falls behind 0-2. That ricochets off Getz and into center field for a knock. Now falling down is Sergakis, but retreating just in time. No throw. Baldwin thought about going to second, but Sergakis scurried back to the bag. He was overexcited to get to third.
Sergakis didn't have to look for his coach right there. He realized once he hit the ground to get back. Tremendous job here. There's that breaking ball again. Reaches out over the plate. We heard he had good back control. Great job shortening up the stroke, keeping the hands back, knocking the line drive so hard that it nicks the pitcher, it is still hit hard enough to get past the diving shortstop into center field.
That was a rocket off the bat of Alonso. He displays the 2-strike contact, and there he is at first. Colby Woodmansee looking for some contact. Strikeouts in both at-bats against Brian Johnson. Happy to see a new look. And the first pitch is past the glove of Getz, and Baldwin will swallow it. The bags are full for Brooklyn.
Just as you draw it up as your hitter. It's a line drive in the book tomorrow. The old Baltimore chop. Turf field takes play in this. Over the 6'6" pitcher tips his glove. No one else can make a play. Here comes Lance Carter to make a visit.
If it doesn't tip his glove, then Baldwin has a chance.
Chance, but probably a slim chance because Woodmansee can run a little bit as well.
Alonso moves up to second, station to station, Sergakis to third.
How many players you know with the 3-word name? Woodmansee.
3 syllables?
No, 3 words. Yeah, Woodmansee. It's 3 different words into a last name. It was a long flight.
Never thought about that. A little journey to Taiwan for the past week, so we'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you were going over that during your research on your way back on the flight home.
Hey, I have the last name with the all 5 vowels, so I figured I'd go with something.
And that's the first pitch over to Tiberi. And the covering Getz makes the play. So 1 pitch gets him out of the bases loaded 2-out jam. The Cyclones leave them loaded. 6 hits on the board, none for the Spinners yet. Hey kids, you could win a chance to join Gary, Keith, and Ron in the booth and call a Mets game on SNY. Just go to sny.tv/Kidcaster, where you can video audition online for a chance to win the SNY Kidcaster contest presented by New York's 529 College Savings Program. The parachute drop. It's a long way down, and nobody makes that drop anymore. Harold Gonzalez still going. 84 pitches deep, 6 no-hit innings. He's walked 1 batter, hit another, and whiffed 6, that is.
We heard the pitching coach say probably 95, 100 pitches they'd let him go till.
So that no-hitter is just about no chance unless he is as economical as I've ever seen. And we see that in the major leagues nowadays. How many guys get pulled with a no-hitter going because of pitch count? Saw it a couple times in the first few weeks of the major league season. Adam Conley of the Miami Marlins. Who was the pitcher on the Dodgers? Who's not even up anymore? Ross Stripling.
Yes.
In his first outing.
First outing ever.
And this is Ryan Scott. .217 with Lowell. He's a good hitter. Best batting average in Division I NCAA baseball this year. And it's the first knock for the Spinners.
And I was just sitting here listening to you say it about 4 times in that, the no-hitter. Like, I don't think I've ever want to be the one to say it, and then it happened. Nice job, Scott.
Thank you. I've done it 1,000 times in my career. I'll take the blame every time.
He's still perfect, folks. Have you called a no-hitter?
I have.
Oh.
In the Cape Cod Baseball League.
But you know why I said it, Fonzie? Hey, this will tell.
Well, Donnie Baldwin
You know why?
going after the first pitch.
Yeah, but he
Have you thrown one?
No, not that counted. I went 9 innings in Venezuela in the playoffs.
Yes, you did.
There's Adam Atkins, the right-hander. We'll see him next.
And it didn't count because the game was 0-0. Then we took a 1-0 lead, top of the 10th. I went back out. First hitter, jam job, little blue base hit. It's as close as I ever came.
Aldman swings at 0-1. So on most nights, that is a no-hitter.
And that's that cutter again. You can see that tight spin. It stays there. It looks like it's a hittable pitch. Hitter swinging at that location, but that ball spinning somewhere else. Down and away from the righties. He's been able to throw that with tremendous command all night long.
That pitch is walloped left field, heading back towards the wall, but it twists foul. It had the distance.
That wasn't the location he was looking for with that one. Hung it big time over the middle of the plate. And man, he got all of that ball just foul. Oh, sitting up there, hit me. Just a little too excited when he saw it up there like that. Still ahead, 0-2, just a long strike.
There's some power in this bat for Lowell. That's strike 3, then the throw to second base. Doubles him up. Ali Sanchez is money. And Ryan Scott will sit back down.
Tightened up that breaking ball for that pitch right there. There it is. Nice tight drop. Ali Sanchez makes an even better pitch right there. Over 120 feet away. Throws a strike to get the runner.
Strike him out, throw him out, and now Jerry Downs.
Yes, sir. It's well known about Sanchez, that throwing arm. Throws out a high percentage of the runners that try and go on him.
The coaching staff said the key area of improvement for him is the transfer. We know the arm is there. How quickly can he get the ball from the glove to the throwing arm and over to second base? It was pretty quick there.
Yeah, sometimes you're so enamored with your arm as a catcher that you want to show it off. You forget about the fundamentals of the quick feet that will help you to get rid of that ball a lot quicker. You have some slow feet, then all of a sudden it's a slow arm swing. And it doesn't matter how hard you throw the ball, not releasing it quickly will end up in you just missing a lot of base runners that can steal bases. Especially as you move up. Those runners at the big league level, once they know a pitcher's cadence, their timing, it becomes a one-on-one matchup with you and the base runner because he's already beat the pitcher once he takes that lead.
3-1. It's fouled off. Pete Alonso at first base. He played some third at college. His freshman season with the University of Florida. Ever since his sophomore year, he's been at first. And that's the position that the New York Mets want him to start at with Brooklyn.
Well, first and third are two positions with the Mets right now that are kind of question marks.
They do have Dom Smith in the minor league farm chain, who's further along than Alonso, but younger than Pete Alonso.
Gonzalez at pitch 96, getting towards the end right here. Could be his last batter, 3-2. He's been able to use all his pitches and not be afraid to use his off speed with 3-2. Let's see what he does.
Sanchez will go over the payoff pitch.
I think they're going to go over pitch selection right here. He may want to try and throw something else. The batter's fouling ball straight back. When a batter starts fouling the ball straight back, that means he's on you. If he's fouling it off, down the third base line or into the dugout foul, that's a protection swing. When he's fouling him straight back, that means he's just under that ball. So he may have seen something there. He wants to go with a certain pitch. Doesn't want him to shake him off or anything. Let's go right to it.
And he fires and misses. The changeup away, and the 2-out base runner for Lowell.
That'll be it.
And here comes Tom Gamboa. 98 pitches from Harold Gonzalez. He was brilliant tonight, allowed just 1 Lowell hit and a few base runners. He'll be responsible for the man aboard. Adam Atkins will replace him.
Very nice job by Gonzalez. Even better than advertised. Did a tremendous job mixing his pitches, even with the little tweak in the ankle. Didn't let that affect his game.
He struck out 7 batters.
Well-deserved round of applause right there.
His manager said this pitcher is a pleasure to watch for his control, and he displayed that tonight. A done deal for Harold Gonzalez. Did he just salute us? 6 2/3, just 1 hit. Scoreless baseball, a couple walks, 7 strikeouts, but he is responsible for the base runner, and that is Jerry Downs. And this is Adam Atkins. Just 4 innings so far in his 4 appearances with Brooklyn. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, 4 hits. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. Does he use his height? Not quite.
Nope. Once again, when you're dropping down sidearm, you're using deception over height. So he's looking to try and force the hitter's eyes to change from where they were focusing for Gonzalez and his release point, now trying to find the release point and then figure out what kind of pitch is coming.
It's a rising fastball at 87 miles per hour. He faces Tucker Tubbs. 18th round selection by the New York Mets out of Louisiana Tech. That was in this past draft. Dynamite numbers.
Oh my.
LA Tech.
2 for 1 special. And to our right,
about 20 feet away to the right.
We didn't flinch at all, but
Wasn't close enough.
They didn't just flinch over on that side. They knocked over their whole table.
Hello.
Was dominant in college. 11.2 strikeouts per 9. Only 9 saves, but when you can add that deception with that velocity coming from that sidearm delivery.
That pitch is fouled back.
That's closer to us.
Didn't have the distance.
Still haven't gotten a ball yet.
Ever?
Not as a
broadcaster.
Not as a broadcaster.
You can't catch one when you're doing Mets pre and post.
Gary Apple gets them all. Again, he went from fouling that ball off pretty firmly to the right. He fouled it straight back. Sanchez goes out and make a trip. Let's get on the same page here. I'm seeing a little something. He's on it. Let's try and mix it up here.
Why does he need to go out there to tell him what pitch is coming across here, as opposed to just flashing down a sign?
Because then you tend to get into he doesn't want it. If the pitcher doesn't want it, he shakes him off, then it's going to be that battle of shaking off back and forth. He's going to keep wanting it. He's going to shake it off, and then he's going to go out there anyway. So might as well nip it in the bud, go quickly.
Plus, America loves a good debate.
Plus, it's good TV time.
Mm-hmm.
Torrealba. Oh, Torrealba used to be with the Colorado Rockies.
Mm-hmm. Yorvie?
Oh, that guy. He would go out there he wanted TV time. He said it even. He'd take the mask off and walk out there so you could see him. Making sure you can see. We had a problem with that the last broadcast. Remember, the pitcher couldn't see Sanchez's hands once the shadow started to set in.
2-2 misses away. Here's Sanchez.
Like a good quarterback, trying to be in command of the offense, here the defense, but he's trying to put everybody in the right position, let everybody know what's going on. Alonso tells him he's playing behind, puts his hand behind him, lets him know he's going to back up. Just be off his shoulder here. He's going to back up. Oh, faked it right there. Little trickery.
There's a lot going on right now.
I mean, for a 3-2 pitch right now, distracting the hitter in all different ways.
And the runner's on the move, and the ball is sent to center field. Zanin measures it, and that will sit down the side. So Atkins replaces Harold Gonzalez and keeps his line clean. Get up and stretch. And that is where the Brooklyn Cyclones came up short in the third inning. It was Barrios with the best chance to score. They had the bases loaded in the sixth, but could not capitalize. And so the crowd is hoping for a run in a scoreless contest dominated by the starters. Now we move on to the bullpen crew for both sides. Scott Braun along with Nelson Figueroa on a gorgeous night with no wind at all in Coney Island. Tyler Hill in left field. Acosta moves from left to center. The Lowell Spinners of the Boston Red Sox affiliation. They play their home games about 25 miles outside of Boston. They've been the affiliate of the Red Sox since 1996. The Brooklyn Cyclones were born in 2001. The Mets short season A-ball affiliate. This is Pat Getz. Sidewinder v. Sidewinder right now. Both of them with some length. And Ali Sanchez has connected in both trips to the plate. Right up the middle. Left side this time. A smoke shot past the glove of Baldwin. And Sanchez is aboard for the third time tonight.
Good hard contact by Sanchez yet again. Not trying to drop that back shoulder and lift and separate. Putting it on the ground, making something happen. Even steps in the bucket right there. Hard ground ball, uses the turf, takes that second bounce, jumps right past the third baseman Baldwin, not able to get a glove on it. E5 awarded to him.
Yes, the error against Baldwin. That's a tough hop and a hard hit baseball.
Hard hit baseball, but when you have not a lot of experience playing on turf, that'll eat you up every time.
I'm pleading the case for Sanchez. Sanchez at first actually had a bone bruise on his hand and ended up missing 10 days. Tom Gamboa said he needs to play. He's the #1 catcher, but he's actually caught the fewest games for this ball club. We'll see if Jay Jabs can move him over. Baldwin playing on the turf.
Tough assignment right now. He's looking to try and bunt this ball. Normally you're looking to bunt a ball, we see it from that higher level, pitch downward. This ball's rising up. It's going to be tough to square up and put it on the ground.
He does put it on the ground left side, but it's queued up perfectly for a double play ball, but safe at first is Jab, so he replaces Sanchez as the base runner for Brooklyn. What happened to the bunt attempt?
I think it turned into a hit and run, but there was a stutter step there. The runner at first went a little too early and stopped. Led to Jabs having to hustle down the line. See him there looking towards second base. He kind of put his hands out at the side like, what happened to the hit and run? I was doing my job, because if the shortstop goes to cover as the guys go, he did everything he was supposed to do as the hitter. the runner doesn't move, the shortstop doesn't try and cover, there's no vacated shortstop for that ball to go through. Don't worry. It's been noted by Gamboa.
He'll write it down in the post-game evaluation. This is Arnaldo Barrios. The Mets want every position player on this team to reach 100 at-bats. It actually is not as hard as it appears. Runners going, swing and a miss, and then the throw is a little bit late onto the left side. So it's a stolen bag for Jay Jabs.
Good throw. It's on the right side of the bag, though. That's the only thing that held it up. Good strong throw. It looks like it's cutting almost from him. Leads to the shortstop leaning over, trying to catch it and make the tag at the same time. Able to get in safely.
Chance for Barrios to drive in a run.
Tell you what, with that new instant replay, you see everybody trying to hold the tag on just a little longer, because you know how many times a guy slides in safely and just shuffles his feet, moves just a little bit, or comes off the bag a little early, and it's an out at the big league level.
No replay review in the New York Penn League, but this is good practice.
Practice. Tried the backdoor breaking ball right there. Looked like it had the corner, but just a little low. He's been trying to hit that ball to the left side this whole at bat.
Barrios to the right side. Madera makes the play. And over to third base goes Jabs with 2 down. So Jay Jabs is at third. And Michael Baez steps up after a 2-for-4 night yesterday with a walk added as well in his debut as a Cyclone.
Second time the Cyclones have had a man on third base in this game. See if they can do something, bring him home.
This player knows a thing or two about clutch. The game-winning walk-off hit against LSU sent his school, Coastal Carolina, to Omaha. The Mets made him their 4th-round pick in 2016.
Now remember, in the third inning, he hits that double down the left field line. Third baseman's playing in and off the line, well off the line. Look from the maybe turn and burn again. Definitely wasn't looking to hit that ball the other way right there.
Big swing on the 2-0. The added power to his attributes at school this year. 15 home runs for Coastal Carolina. In the 2 previous seasons, he racked up just 10.
With 86 right there. They say he will top out at around 92. We haven't seen that tonight, but the deception is really what sells that fastball. It doesn't matter what the radar gun says.
Baez with a check swing. He had to protect himself. And covering the bag is Getz. And so that retires the side. A safety shielded bat. And it's in fair territory. And that helps Getz get out of the jam. Still nothing from the Cyclones or the Spinners after 7. We did not see Bartolo Colon in the Midsummer Classic, but he's back on the mound tomorrow. Big Bart kicks off the second half of the season for the Mets as they meet up with the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. Mets-Phillies, presented by Jeep. Coverage begins tomorrow at 6 o'clock, only on SNY. It's Bart, then Logan Verrett, and Jacob deGrom for the Mets against Hellickson, Eichhoff, and Eflin for the Phillies. And it's Taylor Henry on the mound for Brooklyn, the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Cyclones, a 21st round selection by the Mets in the 2014 draft.
Centenary.
That's the college he pitched in L.A.
That's the one.
Louisiana, that is.
Or Lower Alabama.
Or Los Angeles. This is Victor Acosta, number 7 hitter for the Spinners.
He's
0 for
over
2
there.
tonight.
The other guy's off. Yeah. Yeah, he's away.
So the Mets begin their second half voyage. Everybody is rested now. Nobody appeared in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that.
Well, Noah wasn't going to pitch. He wasn't on the active roster.
Right.
Bartolo was saved for extra innings, and Jerry's Familia for the save if the National League had the advantage when we got to the 9th. Where else do you put Jerry's?
I get it, I understand. I just think I felt like he was robbed of an all-star appearance last year. Gets an opportunity this year, at least give him an out.
He'll be back. Acosta lofts one into right field, and it will drop for a base hit. Barrios couldn't make it over in time. Is that a diving effort possibility?
Playing a little deep for my liking when you got a right-handed hitter, the off outfielder, so the opposite field outfielder for a hitter, especially at this level with wooden bats, putting a ball in play right there, just playing a little too deep. I'm going to challenge a guy to hit the ball over my head if I'm the outfielder, because I don't think they have enough pop in their bat to do that. Take away those little bloop hits.
Now Steven Ravelis bats next. A couple strikeouts so far. That ball had some hang time to it. Cyclones outfield is playing further back than what we've seen from the Spinners. There's the bunt. It's to the pitcher, Henry, and he makes the right throw to first.
Nice play, aggressive off the mound, maybe a little too out of control to get a play at second base. And here's the bunt. Nice job on the bunt. He came crashing in, but he's a little out of control right here. You'll see his weight is caught on his inside foot. You see that little shuffle step. He realizes wants to turn to make that throw. Nice job on the sacrifice, but
down goes Ravelis. He's young.
Nobody saw it. It's just broadcasted on SNY.
21 years old. And now 20-year-old Nick Shortino, a New Jersey native.
90% of the games you play would never be reminded of that. But this game is broadcasted on TV. Somebody will make a copy, send it to him. He lives on forever.
That's why we're here, to create lasting memories. 0-1 on the ground. Woodmansee lets it roll to him and makes the play for the second out. Advancing to third is Acosta. And this is the first time tonight that the Spinners have a man 90 feet away from scoring.
Two outs and trying to manufacture, playing a little bit of small ball. Got the bloop over there for the base hit. Sacrifice bunt to move him over. Tried to go up the middle. Got him over at third base. A wild pitch. Scores a run.
Matt McLean, chop shot. Paez, throw off the mark. Run scores, and the Spinners are on the board. The error against the second baseman, Michael Paez, gives Lowell a 1-0 lead.
Tough play right there when you see that high chop. Again, on the turf, it takes that extra bounce. He thought he had more time. Caught in between right there, had to hurry his throw. Right there, realizes, oh, got to get rid of it. Tries to make a strong throw, but wide of the base. That's something he'll learn at this level, the speed of the game. Now you're in professional baseball. Don't take it for granted that the guy's just shuffling his feet. It's a middle infielder. Right away, you got to assume that he has some speed. Get rid of that ball.
It's been a whirlwind year for Paez. A long college season, as long as you can go. He just arrived. Last night was his debut at shortstop. And now he's playing second base tonight, which will be his normal spot. only at shortstop when Colby Woodmansee gets a night off.
Normally when you're at short, your feet are moving. If it's up the middle, your feet are moving towards the direction where you're throwing it. When you're at second base, you're moving away from where you're throwing. So his weight distribution was probably off right there, caught a little flat-footed. That's something he'll have to work on, is that adjustment, shifting his feet and ahead of making the play.
And nowadays in the minor leagues, it is becoming more rare to see players sticking at just one position. Example A, the Brooklyn Cyclones. There will be players hopping around the diamond, like Jay Jabs out in left field tonight. He had a 4-day stretch where he was in left field, over at third base. He can play right field, first base, number of spots for Jabs. There he is.
Well, it's funny because back when I was coming up, you had the utility player, a guy that was an everyday starter and then all of a sudden had to kind of take that bench role and fill in, had to learn how to be a utility player. And that was a guy that wasn't thought as a starter anymore. Ground ball to second base right here.
And that'll do it. Madera rolls it to Paez. He does make up for the error, but the Spinners have the first run. It's the last of the 8th in Brooklyn. 2, 3, and 4 due up at the plate for the Cyclones. Now trailing by 1 run due to the error against the second baseman, Michael Paez. And Pat Getz continues. He'll go against Nick Sergakis. Designated hitter, sometimes plays second base for this ball club. Walks in back-to-back at-bats. Stole a base in the 4th. Was left at third in the 6th inning. 5'8", 175 pounds, but a couple homers already in the New York Pen League.
Yeah.
Not easy to ship a ball out of this yard.
No, short stroke that he has, nice and compact, tries to just hit the ball hard on the nose. It happens to have the distance.
Oof. That was hit on a line. Baldwin makes the play.
Yeah.
Solid contact right to the man at third. That's the first out, and here comes Jacob Zanin. He also has a couple home runs so far. He's driven in 13 in his first 22 games.
Oh, yeah. It's Chris Mann and Manoa. They play, yeah. Yeah, he's good, yeah. Oh, they gotta do something. They gotta like count pitches.
Gets doing a nice job getting ahead of the hitters.
See how fast the guy goes.
Strike one.
Yeah, they gotta
continuing to work the strike zone from there and expand.
That ball is sent to left field. Tyler Hill has it. He comes in to make the grab for the second out.
Almost hit too hard.
Aren't the Spinners playing a little bit more shallow than we saw the Cyclones?
They definitely are.
Now they might move back with Pete Alonso stepping up. But especially center field, there is so much space. You go all the way back to 412 straightaway center. Everybody coming in from the infield.
It's the manager going out right here.
Little time waster to get the pitcher warmed up.
Nobody up on the mound in the bullpen. He should be, if he was ready, he was ready. Yeah, he was ready apparently because he's coming in.
He's wanted an extra second to peer over the wall and make his grand entrance. The Oscar Romero will enter next and replace Getz. The wonderful Wonder Wheel is sleeping. And the Brooklyn Cyclones trying to wake up their bats with 4 outs to spare at MCU Park. Spinners up 1-0 in the 8th. And tonight, coming up on Geico Sports Night, Darryl Strawberry pays us a visit. It's a second half preview of the Mets and the Yankees. That begins again tomorrow, Major League Baseball season, after the All-Star break. And deadline day is approaching for the Jets and Muhammad Wilkerson. It's all coming up tonight, starting at 10:30 p.m. only on SNY. Join Doug Williams later on. Teoscar Romero making his 8th appearance. ERA south of 3, 16 hits over 12 2/3, 6 walks, 16 strikeouts. Nelson, he's 6'3", 230 pounds on the mound.
It's a very large mammal.
He signed as an international free agent in February of 2012 out of San Cristobal, Dominican Republic.
Been there.
Where haven't you been?
Oh, man. If they're paying you to play baseball, you go anywhere they send you.
I would pay you to be my tour guide just about anywhere around the world. There's some heat, 92 miles per hour down the pipe. It's 1-1.
Okay, falls off to the side. Arm comes directly over the top. Pretty smooth otherwise.
And the Spinners summon on Romero and say, welcome to the game. And here's one of the most talented bats in the New York Penn League. The 2nd round pick of the New York Mets this year out of the University of Florida. The 2-strike count has not faced Pete Alonso tonight. It does this time. He strikes out. Romero gets the job done. And the Cyclones come up empty. Alonso chasing. It is 1-0 Spinners. We enter the 9th. Take the Q chain, hop off Surf Avenue, that is, and then take a stroll on the boardwalk up to MCU Park. This looks like fun, Nelson. How was this experience?
It's kind of a little play on the parachute jump. It's not nearly as breathtaking, but a big swing, go around in circles. Still a good time. All these rides here are just so much fun. Bring the family down here, have a great day, and then come watch a ball game.
From that vantage point up there, can you catch a little bit of MCU Park?
Oh, absolutely. I've done that one before, and then the slingshot. You catch a view of MCU Park several times as you're bouncing up and down.
I'll just do 9 innings of that. We're in the 9th. It's Taylor Henry facing Ryan Scott. Base hit in the 7th. This team scored in the 8th. It was Victor Acosta who began the frame with a base hit as the breaking ball is fouled off. Eventually, Acosta moved to second base on the bunt. And when he was at third, a bouncing ball over to Michael Paez could have retired the side. Instead, the throw was off the mark, and that is how the Spinners broke the ice. Henry's 0-2. 3 pitches, and he sits down the first batter of the 9th in Ryan Scott.
Nice job right there, expanding the strike zone. It's supposed to be inside, but it's down with good action. Swings right over the top.
Now facing Roldani Baldwin. And the southpaw fools him. A lot of swing and miss.
Yeah, he's not getting cheated up there. Oh, they want to check the ball. Gamesmanship.
What are they looking for?
Oh, right there, it's a combination of 2 things. Catcher took a little nick on the swing. Want to give him some time to recover. Right there. Just nicked him right on the arm. Umpire lets his masked partner get a breather.
That relationship works both ways.
Absolutely. You think about letting someone throw a baseball at you up to 105 miles an hour. Doesn't seem like the most fun line of work. Then think the other guy has just a little bit of protection on. as balls are coming flying towards him, and you're counting on that guy to keep you from getting hit.
Well, I don't know how common 105 is. I only know Aroldis Chapman and Michael Kopech in the Red Sox minor league organization. But I get the point.
You get it.
Jason Groom was the first-round pick of the Boston Red Sox this year, and he reportedly just agreed to a deal. So he'll enter the Boston Red Sox pitching ranks. He's out of high school.
Jersey.
And dropped because of character concerns, but one of the most talented pitchers out of the class. The Mets agreed to a deal with Anthony Kay yesterday out of UConn. And there were elbow concerns with Kay, so he signed for under slot value. Over the head of the third baseman to Berry and into left field. It's a one-out base runner for the Spinners. Baldwin is aboard.
Got it in on him right there. It was a nice pitch. Looking to go away, but there's that cutting action again. He's able to cover it, breaks his bat, but dies a hero. Base hit to left.
Here comes Jerry Downs.
At this level, you're seeing a lot of times the catcher sets up in one area, the ball ends up in another. The movement is what gets these hitters out. When they're able to harness that movement and location, that's where they start moving up to the higher levels and are more successful.
Downs is 0 for 2, but he did walk last time around. And he goes after the 1-0 off-speed pitch. It's 1-1. The Cyclones should get better in a couple weeks. Well, it could be longer than that. We have no timetable for Desmond Lindsay. He was the first pick by the Mets organization last year, a second-round selection. A severe hamstring injury and extended spring training. He's still hanging out down there in the Gulf Coast League. This game began with Harold Gonzalez. One hit baseball. He was removed in the 6th.
Yeah, dealt all game long. Kept these hitters off balance. Used his changeup and cutter so effectively in and out of the strike zone. Threw a slow curveball at times. Sanchez again going out to talk to the pitcher, get on the same page.
One day, I think there's going to be a restriction on timeouts in Major League Baseball. Mark it down.
There was a rule in the Dominican Republic that they tried, and it was 3 visits to the mound, period, that the next visit was the pitcher would have to come out.
Did you like that?
It was a rule that people didn't really know of. So there was a starter. It was Ramon Ortiz, was in and out of trouble the whole game. Pitching coach would go out. Pitching coach went out for the 3rd time, but it's twice in 1 inning that they have to come out. They were like, no, that's the 3rd time he has to come out the game. And nobody was warming up. So it caught him by surprise.
Payoff pitch is fouled off to the left side. Read the rule book.
Because usually when you have to go visit a guy 3 times at any point, you figure that's got to be it, right? But he was pitching a tremendous game, just
Castro, the right-hander in the bullpen.
just starting to toss and get loose. Throw over to give him some more time. See, this is where in the old rule, then the pitching coach would go out and a nice slow-paced walk. They've quickened that up with that little 30-second clock.
Downs breaks his bat. Alonso took a hop step, looked at second base, instead hops to first, and that's the second out.
Nice job right there. You want to be a left-handed reliever who makes the move up quickly. Get out those left-handers. Focus on getting out your left-handers. That'll be your easiest way to move up the ranks.
So that brings up Tucker Tubbs, searching for his first hit of the evening. Pete Alonso, second-round pick.
Jay Jabs, Tucker Tubbs.
You like these names?
Firm. Firm to quite firm.
Jabs out in left field, number 21. Tubbs, 23 years old, 9th round selection out of Memphis, a senior sign in 2015.
Threw that changeup first pitch, down and away. Then he goes with that cutter right there. Jams him with that. Kind of rocking him back and forth. Right now the hitter is set up for so many options.
Oh-2 on its way to Tubbs, and he stays alive. Brooklyn Cyclones baseball on SNY is brought to you by Verizon, the better network. Better matters. Pitch number 31. Tubbs takes it away.
Come on.
Very nice pitch. After that fastball away, goes with the changeup. Trying to get a swing. It's fairly well off, but
oh yeah. Ali Sanchez trying to frame and bring it back to the strike zone, but
from the
he
other
had to go a long way.
Yeah, from the other batter's box. That's the pitch he was looking for right there.
Collects. The high throw is corralled by Pete Alonso at first base. And that will sit down the Spinners. Last licks for the Brooklyn Cyclones, trailing 1-0. Cyclones down 1-0 despite 6 hits this evening. And it'll be up to Colby Woodmansee, Blake Taberry, and Ali Sanchez and company. It is 5, 6, and 7 due up. A base hit in the 6th inning from Woodmansee. And he faces Romero, who remains in the game. The Cyclones have won 4 in a row. Just returned from a trip to Aberdeen, where they pulled off a sweep. Sitting in 2nd place right now in the McNamara division. 14 total teams in the New York Penn League. Tom Gamboa managing for his 3rd season. And the Cyclones have not seen the postseason in the last few years.
Says he throws anywhere from 88 to 93. That was 94 right there, so he's feeling good tonight.
Woodmansee off the end of the bat and past Madera, who was on a dive. And he's going for second. He'll slide in safely. That's a leadoff double for Colby Woodmansee.
Great job of hustling out of the box, knowing that it was going to be a diving play. Remember, the fielder has to do a lot of things. He's got to be able to catch it, get up and throw it, make a good throw. So hustle out of the box. Control what you can control. Your effort. He does a tremendous job of that, and then realizing on that ricochet, hustle down to second base, get in, give your team a chance to tie a ball game right here.
On a baseball that barely made it past the infield, the Cyclones with a chance. Woodmansee played both of those games with Jose Reyes right next to him when he was with the ball club a couple weeks back. He said they didn't even talk much baseball, just had fun.
That's Jose.
That was a Reyes-like approach, though, to take second base. And set up Blake Taberry, who's hitting under 200 so far. No hits and 3 at-bats tonight. Long hold by the catcher, Shortino. Looking for a call that never came.
Kind of surprised the sacrifice isn't on right here. Get him over to third. Take 2 chances at it to tie it up.
And with the way that Ali Sanchez has been swinging the bat tonight. A pair of hits up the middle.
Taberry took that first one right down the middle. That would have been the pitch to bunt. Right there, it looked like a little cross-up. That's when a catcher will go out, more so than anything. But again, when you don't know all of your teammates or all the pitchers as well, this is part of the learning process. So better to be safe than sorry when you're someone like Ali Sanchez. Go out there, get on the same page, rather than make a mistake and talk about it afterwards.
Count is 2-1 to Blake Taberry. Big cut and a miss. It's 2-2. Manager Tom Gamboa spoke to me yesterday about the struggles of Taberry so far. He said the problem is he's uppercutting everything with his swing.
Yeah, look like that right there, like he was trying to golf that ball. It's on a downward plane. Your job right here is to try and pull this ball on the right side, get the runner over. If it gets through, that's the bonus.
And the 2-2 is to the left side. So that'll keep the runner at second. And on the hop is a nice play by Tubbs to scoop it up.
Tough play right there in between. Tries to make the throw on the run rather than setting his feet. Tubbs does a tremendous job of digging that ball up the turf.
Woodmansee does not move from second. With one down, Sanchez. It's 2 hits, I believe, tonight. The 1 error. That's past the catcher. Woodmansee is going to cruise into third base.
You know, that Tom Gamboa, he just sees things before they happen. That's all it was. Pitch gets away right there. The action of it seemed almost like a split-fingered fastball. His arm action was fastball. His body was going away from the location of that pitch, just released behind him a little bit. You see it take off. Almost hits the batter, goes to the backstop.
Shortino having a tough time getting on the same page with Romero right now. Infield is in. Pitch is bell tie for a strike.
Come on, kid.
Crossed him up again right there. The slider, a good pitch. Nice job of the catcher to frame it. Obviously was not looking for that ball to be breaking down and away. Was able to frame it for a strike. Yeah, he was looking for a fastball right there.
How does that happen so frequently in one inning?
Another thing is, a lot of these kids have not played under the lights a lot, so you don't see those shadows play tricks on you. You see fingers down there, you're not really sure, because the difference between a slider and a changeup is one little finger, or even if he wants a fastball away and he's thinking maybe he wants a little cutter, might be a sign for his cutter. He definitely threw him a different pitch than he was expecting. Sometimes the language barrier is there, especially early on. Catchers often have to learn as much a crash course in Spanish to have a chance at making a foul ball right there.
Spanglish.
Just something so that they feel more confident that they were understood.
Shortino also might scoop up some nail polish before tomorrow's game. Not the tape, nothing, so might be difficult to see the fingers right now. 94 on the fastball. It misses, it's 2-2.
A little unorthodox by Sanchez. You see him stepping almost in the bucket like he's looking for a pitch inside. Pulling his weight backwards, almost falling backwards. While it's not fundamentally sound, puts him in a good athletic position, he feels, to put a good swing on the ball.
And he loves going the opposite way. Infield pushing in. Sanchez has done a great job of keeping his hands inside the baseball. He'll go to right field often. This time he'll go to first base. That's ball 4.
Very close pitch right there. Just off the corner. Good eye by Sanchez.
Now Jay Jabs. Iggy Suarez and his Spinners captured a 1-0 lead in the 8th. They're in trouble in the ninth.
Here's where it's a little different. You got the infield wants to be in, definitely in on the corners. But you want the middle for that double play to end the ball game. But if they're not able to double them up, tie ball game.
Woodmansee on third.
A little halfway.
Sanchez on first. He locates the fastball. First pitch strike.
Jabs has been a hero for this team already this season.
He's put together quality at-bats for this ball club. And the 0-1 is in the air. Right field line. Tubbs looking at it, and he's called off by Madera. Here comes the throw home on the sac attempt. And he's out to end the ball game.
Wow.
Woodmansee heading home because Madera's momentum carried him backwards, but the throw was on the money with time to finish it.
Yeah, that throw on the turf takes one straight hop to the catcher, gets there even a little bit quicker than it would on grass. A daring attempt to try and score the run right there. You're just banking that the play wasn't going to get made. Falling over awkwardly, makes a strong throw. It's to the right, gets back. What a play right there to end the ball game.
The Clones banking on the fact that the Spinners would have a miscue. It didn't happen.
I don't even think he tagged him. Actually, he goes up on his shoulder. Oh, there it gets right there.
Shortino.
Right
That's
there.
the left leg.
Very good view, guys. Very nice. Right there, right off the knee. I thought it might have went over the top of his shoulder, and we see the little deacon going back and forth to get a hand in, to no avail.
A dramatic way to end a ball game. A catch in foul territory.
Never seen that before, have you?
I have not. I'm sure Tom Gamboa has over 40 years of experience in baseball. The Cyclones fall. It snaps their 4-game winning streak. 1-0 Spinners take it despite fantastic starting pitching from Harold Gonzalez. 6 2/3, just a hit, a couple walks, and 7 strikeouts. The Cyclones fall to 13-14 on the young New York Penn League season. Tomorrow night, the second half of the Major League season gets underway with all-star Bartolo Colon on the mound as the Mets travel to Philadelphia to battle the Phillies. Our coverage begins at 6 p.m. with Cadillac First Pitch. Coming up later tonight at 10:30 p.m., Geico Sports Night with Doug Williams. For Nelson Figueroa, producer Gerard Guilfoyle, director Jason Lobb, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Scott Braun saying goodbye, good night from Brooklyn. The Spinners take it 1-0 over the Cyclones.